Michelle Missy Avila, who lived a few blocks away. Missy was a friendly, beautiful girl who got along effortlessly with people, and when she met Karen, the two hit it off immediately. Missy invited Karen to her home and introduced her to her mother, Irene Avila, who was happy to host her daughter's new friend. Karen, however, felt jealous of Missy's family life from their first encounter. Karen's first visit to the Avilas was rather peculiar. As the girls were chatting and settling, Irene was in the kitchen fixing them snacks, but as she returned she overheard Karen's bragging that she had two sets of parents and siblings, which was amusing to Irene. She thought being a child of divorced parents was nothing to brag about. She dismissed it, recognising that teenage girls can be silly, but was surprised when she met Karen's mum, Paula Severson. Irene found out that the Seversons were never divorced. She was astonished that a child would lie about something like this. Karen's lies and manipulations continued. She soon met a new boyfriend and fell madly in love. She thought she was finally getting noticed by the boys, just like her beautiful friend Missy, whom she adored and hated in equal measure. Missy, on the other hand, was not doing well. Her parents were separating and her world turned upside down. So too would Karen's. She fell pregnant at the tender age of 15 years old. On the 31st of January 1983, Karen gave birth to a baby daughter. Having a child at such a young age proved to be challenging. In the meantime, Missy met another girl, Laura Doyle, with whom she became close friends while Karen was away from school due to the pregnancy. Like Karen, Laura was not popular at school and came from a broken family of addicts. The Seversons helped Karen take care of her baby, but she would often leave the house and visit Missy. Missy's home has become a retreat where she would get away from her troubles. In one of those such visits, Karen found a boy with Missy in her bedroom. Karen demanded Missy get rid of him. However, Missy refused, and Karen, in a psychotic frenzy, had a meltdown. Missy dismissed her friend's outburst and thought the baby's stress and her breakup with her boyfriend had taken a toll on Karen. Nonetheless, Karen resented Missy and only made up later with her, not because she cared for her, but because Missy's popularity still mattered. Deep down, her hate festered even more. Missy persuaded her friend Karen to come back to school for her 10th grade. Karen agreed, but her insecurities would not let her go back to the same school and face her former schoolmates. She decided to go to another school, Mission High, which was considered a school for dropouts. In that act of rebelling against her parents' separation, Missy changed schools and joined Karen at Mission High. Missy thought the move would cement her loyalty to her friend. The girls' grades dropped as they spent most of their time drinking and smoking with the wrong crowd. Still, Missy's popularity never waned. To Karen's disappointment, even worse, boys still going to the park with her friend Laura, promising to call her if it got late. It was Laura's job to lure Missy, and the plan worked. Laura brought Missy to the park. Eva, Chirumbola, a new friend of the girls, and Karen were already waiting at the park. Laura and Karen started to argue. Laura came back to the car and, with Missy in the passenger seat, sped off, heading to Camp Colby, the girls' old hangout. When they reached the parking lot, Laura and Karen confronted Missy. Missy, while crying, was led through a dirt road by the two girls. Eva was following behind at a distance, confused as to what was happening. She was not alone. Missy too was confused about what she did to her two friends to deserve this. They led her to a little clearing by a stream and made her sit on a rock, hurling insults at her. Laura then grabbed Missy's hair, and Karen started to cut them to humiliate her. In the end, Laura and Karen drowned Missy in the stream, face down, and put a large log of wood on her back. Brazenly, Karen injected herself into the Avila family, moving in with them with her daughter. The Avila family treated Karen like family, as she pretended to mourn her best friend. Eva, who witnessed the murder, though not being involved, kept her mouth shut. She knew she would be dead if Laura and Karen suspected her of betraying them. Karen, who was very supportive of Irene and the Avila family, started to investigate her best friend's murder. She went back to the crime scene with a group of Missy's friends, including the one-time former boyfriend, Victor Amaya. There, they found the words, "Karen and Missy, friends forever," carved onto a tree. They also found the names Randy and Karen with slash markings. Karen, who had previously told her friends she had never been to the place, found it odd to see her name on the tree. She explained that it must be Randy who wrote and slashed the names, and that he must be responsible for Missy's murder. This was Randy, the father of her unborn child, whom she had aborted to spite him. She conned the friends to accept her story, and they plotted to kill Randy. Victor Amaya then beat Randy so severely that he left him for dead, and when they found out that Randy was recuperating at the hospital, a livid Karen demanded that they finish him off. They almost succeeded, only stopping from shooting Randy dead at the last minute. For 3 years, Karen and Laura got away with the murder of Missy Avila. Eva, who had lost her brother to suicide, called the police on July 26, 1988, and told the police what had happened to Missy. It took the loss of her brother to come forward. The following day, Karen Severson and Laura Doyle were arrested on a first-degree murder charge, to the shock and horror of the Avila family. They were like daughters to them, and Karen lived under her roof. The trial began California passed Mrs. Law